How do you feel, after seeing the shot, the whole shot,
Initially, when I started, at some point you start feeling like, okay, now I think it's done. We are at a level now, nothing can be added to it. And then again, you get comments and you see, oh, like, oh shit, yeah, I should have noticed that. Oh, how? And then after a while, you start seeing those little things that you were ignoring. So by the end, even right now, when the shot is done, I still feel okay. I can add something there. I can add, there are things now which I probably would have never imagined adding up later on. Now I can see those things easily. Even after at a point when we have stopped the shot, I still know, okay, I can improve there and stuff like that. Whereas in the middle of the whole workshop, I was like, yeah, now I think it's done. There won't be much, details to that. So that's a big difference that is needed, because once you start seeing those details, then the whole workflow of you changes. Even after this shot, when you are working on several other shots, be it whatever quality, you now start seeing what benchmark you can add. Now what is 1 to 10, how much is 5, how much is 8, how much is 10, and now probably you can still see 11 and 12, if you try harder.
Sweet.
So that's it.
Awesome. Really good, man. Really good. You can actually introduce yourself, your experience a little bit, and how do you know about the CAW, and yeah, why did you choose CAW?
Well, I found out about CAW through LinkedIn, and I was just going through it, and I saw some juniors of mine whose work I had seen before. And when I saw them, working at CAW and their shots, and I was like, holy shit, how did they manage this? And it looked like an international quality. Like, you can just straight out put it into a movie, and it will just merge with it. So I was quite fascinated with that, and I started looking up, how it goes, and I saw that you were the mentor, and then I realized that you are the same guy who worked on the Hulk shot, which was very astonishing when I first saw it. And then during this whole while I was working throughout this in the industry, I was feeling that in a way, I was just doing a routine animation. And I thought that I am losing my love for animation, which I had, the fascination I had when I got into it. So when I spoke to you and I saw a few videos of you talking about animation and the way you were describing it, so I thought that this would be a good idea, just to push yourself in animation. And also probably there is a good chance that I may start falling in love again with the animation and have the same urge that I had initially when I joined the industry. So yeah, that's how it all
Sweet,
worked
man.
out.
That's the passion. That's the passion. That's the love. You have to always review yourself back. This is why I came to the industry. This is why I started the shot. But it's actually have I accomplished it? No, it's like missing somewhere. But nobody reviews it back. Backwards. But that's why I really like you guys, and probably that's why we're all in the CAW. I think probably that's one of the good things. Thanks, man. So, what are the three best things that you liked about the workshop while you are actually working on the assignment and the throughout 12 to 15 weeks or 16 weeks, whatever we have done?
Well, I think the first most important thing is you stop seeing the creatures or animals the way you used to. Now, after taking this workshop, it will all make sense. Why something is moving that way. Even a normal walk cycle or normal creature just sitting around looking around. What is the difference in case if you have to animate that shot. What are the main things that he is doing that you need to put in. Earlier, it would just be some animal walking, and you will just ignore it. Now, even a simple action, you start noticing it, and you keep wondering, in case if I get a shot like that, what do I need to keep in mind? How am I going to get that? Then second, I think, is the one-on-one interaction. Most of the workshop or the other schools that are teaching, they assign people, so you don't know exactly how they are going to be to you. And the good thing about you was it was so personal that even when you are messaging, if we are talking to you separately, individually messaging you, you don't have to go through a name and check out which shot we are doing. Which shot we are working on, what was the last correction, and what we need to do, where we need to push. We had 4 5 people in our 4 guys, I think, in a batch. And you were handling everyone differently. There was no specific criteria by which you were going. You knew where you need to push some guy. The other guy you will have to push in some other way where where he was weak probably, and can probably strengthen his animation. So you knew when I was getting corrections from you, I knew that it was very case specific. They were not like, oh, you just need to do this, do 1 2 3 and it will be done. You knew, for if I may get stuck at 2, probably the other person would be stuck at the step 1. So you knew how to push him to get him to step 1. You knew if I was stuck at 2, you know how to get me out of the step 2 and make me get to step 3. So that was a good part. Then the whole workshop was with people, so you knew there were different people working on different creatures. So even if I, for example, my shot was with the monkey, so I was getting correction as, as compared to how a monkey would move around. But when the same things, I would notice you giving correction on some other people, I knew where I need to be, where I need to make that difference when I have to animate some other animal. So at the same time, while I was animating on one shot, I was learning about different creatures, about their movement and how that works. So those are the three things
You
that I
always
think
learn
they
from
were
other
very important,
people's
which you don't
mistakes and
usually.
comments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brilliant, man. Thanks, Ashar. Really good stuff. So, yeah, before and after CAW, how do you feel about yourself? And what are the three best things that you have learned?
Well, I think the first thing is the confidence that you got initially at times when you would be given creatures. You'll there will be just this small fear that if you can pull this off or not. Now I'm quite relaxed about that. So that confidence is needed because, for example, for now I was working on CG and I was not very much into the realistic animation. But now being put hands in on both sides, now I feel more confident about the animation that I'm doing. I think the second thing is I start to fall in love with animation much more than I was initially, which I thought was I may lose with time, or so it has started the spark again in me. And the third is I have started to fall out of love with the short I'm doing. So I don't get emotionally attached to it. I know once I've done something, the correction that comes in, I have to get rid of it again and try something else and see if that is working. So that way you know that you are not emotionally attached in while you're working. At the end, it's all right to just get emotionally attached to your shot, but while you're working at with during the shot, while working on the shot, I have fallen out of the love with which I used to have, that oh man, I don't want to change it. What if I screw it up? That fear is gone now. You know that even if you have to delete it, the next thing is gonna which is gonna come up is gonna be better than what you did earlier.
Sweet, man. Thank you. So, yeah, that brings us to the last question. Would you recommend CAW to anybody? Or any advice that you wanted to give to the animators, that they are from CAW or not from CAW? Doesn't matter, for any animators who are doing personal work or creative work. So, yeah, would you recommend, and what kind of advice would you give to those guys?
Of course, I would recommend, but I don't think anybody would need my word for it because the work speaks for itself.
Oh, I think it got mute.
Yeah, I said I don't think anybody needs my word for it. I would of course recommend them, but the work speaks for itself. You see the work. Nobody recommended me CAW. I just saw the work. I knew what they were doing, what I wanted to, so nobody had to convince me to join it. I just saw it and I knew I wanted to get something like that in my arena, at least have that confidence that I can pull something like that off if I am given that opportunity. So that's a great thing. And I think overall in the workshop, there are, I think I personally need some motivation at times. I need some push ki, oh, you're doing good, it's almost there. And every time like, you make sure that there are positive comments. You make sure that even if there's a big correction coming your way, how to put it sweetly, and so that they don't get demotivated, because it's a tough process. Realistic animation with creatures is a tough process. It takes time, it takes patience. So you keep putting in word where they're doing good, what is looking great, and that pushes you to do do more. And throughout, there was not a single time that I was frustrated by it, even though when I was showing it to my parents and my parents were like, oh, you're still doing that. I'm like, yeah, because you won't
I
you
love
don't
that.
know what I'm doing. The whole week, throughout, I would be sitting there and I'm like, oh, you're still doing working on those monkeys. I'm like, yeah, because you won't realize as an audience, you may not see that, but as now I can feel where I had to push it. What was I lagging? If in case anybody else was my you know in mentor, they would have just stopped it in some midway and they were like, yeah, now it looks like a monkey. You can feel it. But by the end, now where those tiny details were missing. what you had to, which you couldn't see. I think everyone must have developed a third eye for it. And now with those two regular eye, they see the world. With the third eye, they can see those details and start putting in.
Good one, man. Thank you. That's a good one. Good one. Sweet. Any advice for animators? Who would really like wanted to join or who don't want to join? Doesn't matter. The guys who actually do personal works, at home.
Yeah, I think throughout you kept emphasizing on how important the personal work is, and now I can see that because I feel even if I was doing something by my own, I still need to have that eye where I can, realize what I'm missing. So now at least I know where I will be, where I need to push, what things I wasn't putting in earlier, which I now put in. So that is very important. That is what is needed throughout. So even if you have, if you can sit through and you can work on it, you still need somebody who's an expert who has been doing it for several years to tell you that what extra thing is needed to push you to that international level. Where international studios would want to work with you and need your help on the shots that they're working on.
Thank you.